Families across the state are backing marijuana, a drug they say could make a world of difference for their loved one with chronic pain or other incurable medical conditions.
But the decision to legalize marijuana in Wisconsin isn't theirs. Rose Schmidt sat down with Assembly Speaker Robin Vos, who exclusively shared his plans, goals, and conditions for medical marijuana with News 3 Now.
I could actually take him to a zoo. You know, I could take him to a water park in the Downs. He loves the wave pools.
Loud public places.
But it's too much.
That would be too much for 10-year-old Halden Haas. In this room behind this glass, that's where he feels safe.
And any day, it can be horrific. Some days are okay. Very rarely are there good days.
Heather spends every one of those days at their home outside Sauk City caring for her son, which is even harder when he can't articulate his own pain.
So if he has a headache, you're going to see him hitting his head or smashing it on a floor. And he'll also do that out of anger. So it's really hard to know exactly what hurts.
Halden has a severe form of autism and has been diagnosed with PANDAS, an autoimmune disease that attacks his brain. Meltdowns can be triggered by something as simple as moving a toy, something most people can't understand.
They don't show the really hard stuff.
As far as medications go, Halden has tried it all. CBD oil helps, but it's not enough.
And there is not one med that can fix that. Oh, yeah, there is. It's called cannabis.
Why is medical marijuana one of your priorities for this legislative session?
Well, I think it's a topic that I would like to have us discuss and see if there's a way for us to do a very limited version in Wisconsin.
In an exclusive interview with News 3 Now, Republican Assembly Speaker Robin Vos says he's open to legalizing marijuana for medical use.
I have people that I love who've dealt with very debilitating diseases. There's no cure. There's no ability to treat it other than by pain medication.
There's a bipartisan bill out there already on medical marijuana. Is that something you do support?
No.
Why not?
It's way too broad.
Vos's conditions: people wouldn't be able to grow marijuana themselves, and it would have to be provided and regulated like a prescription painkiller.
For me, it shouldn't be smoked. It should be taken in pill form. It shouldn't even be edible so a child could get at it.
Wisconsin is now being dubbed as an island surrounded by weed, with Michigan, Minnesota, and Illinois all legalizing it in some form. But in the Badger State,
really the majority of Wisconsin physicians do not favor medical marijuana.
And Dr. Molly Raleigh says that's the official position of the Wisconsin Medical Society.
We don't disagree that there are some people that feel like marijuana helps them in some way, but it doesn't mean that physicians want to prescribe it.
Dr. Raleigh cites a lack of high-quality research for medical marijuana. She says as a psychiatrist, it's unlikely she'd consider prescribing it to her patients because it could make things worse.
I think a lot of people believe that medical marijuana is like a baby step toward recreational marijuana, that it's somehow a compromise in between, and we really object to being put in that position.
Because of the medical community's opposition, Vos wants to find a way to leave doctors largely out of the conversation and instead let patients with chronic or terminal illnesses make the decisions for themselves.
I think that could be an area where consensus is, because it doesn't involve the medical community other than the diagnosis, which they already do.
He will be the first to admit that he's got his work cut out for him because a majority of Republicans don't support it. That includes the leader of the state Senate, Scott Fitzgerald, who has made it clear that he's opposed to pot used for medicinal purposes.
I welcome them to come spend a day with my son.
And even if Vos's pitch for a pill form of marijuana passes...
No. Absolutely not.
That's not an option for Heather, who says it won't be enough. For now, she dreams of a time when Halden will have more than one safe space.
Take a look at my son and tell me his life is unimportant. Tell me he doesn't deserve to laugh and run and play with other kids. Tell me he doesn't deserve one day without pain. You look me in the eyes and you tell me he doesn't deserve any of that, and I will accept no medical cannabis.
Rose Schmidt reporting. Speaker Vos or one of his colleagues plan to draft a bill on medical marijuana, but it is unlikely it will pass this session because many other Republicans are concerned it will pave the way for recreational use. Speaker Vos points out that Senator Fitzgerald is running for Congress and may not be at the state capitol next session, which could mean a whole new dynamic on that issue. Fitzgerald says in a statement, quote, "I don't support these efforts to legalize marijuana in Wisconsin, and I think that all of the proposals currently out there will be a tough sell to a majority of my caucus.
And Governor Tony Evers also named medical marijuana legalization as one of his top priorities for the fall. The broad provision in his state budget proposal earlier this year was stripped out by Republican lawmakers.